Hello from home. This is Katie, and I'm the Children's Librarian at White Cloud Community Library. I would like to read to you a story from Kid Artists, and today we're going to learn about Vincent van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh, The Boy Who Loved Bugs, by David Stabler. He would grow up to become one of the most famous artists in the world, known for his swirling images of people, plants, and the night skies. But to his neighbors back in the Netherlands, Vincent van Gogh was just a peculiar and fiercely determined kid who loved to collect bugs. Every day, neighbors would watch Vincent van Gogh walk down the hill. Through the garden gate he'd go, out into the fields behind the house in search of the elusive water beetles that fascinated him. He carried a glass jar and an old fishing net, the better to skim the beasties off the surface of the creek. Vincent spent hours sitting on the banks of the stream, waiting silently for a shiny black critter to appear. Each one was unique. Some had crooked legs that wriggled when you plucked them out of the water. Others had long, fearsome-looking antennae. Vincent knew the names of all the different types of bugs. When he caught one, he'd drop it in his jar for safekeeping during the long trek back home. There in his attic bedroom, he delivered the bugs to their final resting place. He took great care pinning the collected beetles inside tiny specimen boxes. Sometimes he would show the bugs to his sisters before he boxed them up. The girls were horrified. But Vincent didn't care what anyone thought about his hobbies. He loved nature, collecting things, and being by himself. On summer days, he'd gather handfuls of wildflowers from the meadow. It was said that he had memorized the spots where only the rarest flowers bloomed. Other times he spent hours staring at birds, studying their movements. He became an expert on bird migration. When the birds flew south for the winter, he set out to find their nests and then added them to his nature collection. Vincent's mother shared his love of the outdoors, but she worried that he was spending too much time alone in the fields. She tried to convince him to pick up a hobby like drawing. She gave him art books, pencils, and sketch pads, and encouraged him to trace the images he saw in paintings. But Vincent quickly grew bored with copying, and once again he ventured into the meadow to sketch his own vision of nature. He wasn't happy with his drawings, however, and rarely showed them to anyone. He later called them nothing more than little scratches. Only one person could get Vincent to change his solitary ways, his younger brother Theo. Theo was Vincent's opposite in every way, cheerful, friendly, and fun-loving. Theo loved spending time with people. He had none of Vincent's gloomy disposition. While Vincent liked to study birds and collect their nests, Theo preferred to whistle along with their songs. For a time, Theo's sunny personality rubbed off on Vincent. Though they were 4 years apart in age, they became roommates, playmates, and constant companions. Vincent taught Theo how to shoot marbles and invented elaborate games to play. In summer, they built sandcastles in the family garden. When winter came, they skated on the pond or dragged their sleds through the snow. If it was too cold to go outside, they stayed indoors and played board games by the fireside. But Vincent soon fell into a sad funk. It didn't help that he felt as if Theo was their parents' favorite. To his parents' dismay, Vincent loved to venture out at night, especially when a storm was brewing. He once disappeared for several hours, ending up in a town 6 miles away. When he returned home in the middle of the night, his clothes were filthy and his shoes were caked in mud. At home, Vincent became quarrelsome and prone to tantrums. The family maid complained that he was the most unpleasant of all the Van Gogh children. She branded him an oddball. At first, even art brought no satisfaction to Vincent, and his temper could be destructive. He once drew a picture of a cat climbing an apple tree, but when he showed it to his mother, she failed to give him the approval he was seeking. Vincent tore up the sketch. When he was 8 years old, a sculptor's assistant gave him some clay, which he expertly molded into an elephant. But Vincent was so dissatisfied with his sculpture that he smashed it on the floor. Shortly after turning 16, Vincent got a job in an art gallery. He spent the next 4 years packing and unpacking art supplies, boxing up paintings, and getting an up-close look at the works of the great Dutch masters, including Rembrandt and Vermeer. Being left alone seemed to revive Vincent's spirits. He handled the artworks as carefully as he had once collected the insects, becoming as devoted to the study of art as he was to the world of nature. He even made up with Theo, who visited him in The Hague and later followed him into the art business. The brothers began writing long letters to each other in which Vincent confessed his feelings of loneliness and isolation and his desire to express himself through his art. Over the years, he poured all his unhappiness and his energy into making art. Although he was never able to recapture the fun he had found as a child skimming water bugs off the stream near his house, he did manage to convey the intensity of his feelings about nature and his own personality in many of his paintings. Theo remained one of the few bright spots in Vincent's life. Besides exchanging regular letters, more than 600 in all, Theo also sent Vincent money and introduced his brother to many of the important artists of the day. Until the end, Theo served as his older brother's bridge to the outside world and the best friend this lonely artist ever had. The end. Okay, now before we start making some art, let's go look at Vincent van Gogh's paintings. So take a look at these cool paintings that he did. He uses all these different colors of brush strokes, as you can see in the background, all these different lines. And in the background of his self-portrait, he's got all these different lines of color to create movement and swirls. We're going to do that today, and you can use markers or paints or pens or pencils, whatever you have at home. Okay, so I have my paints ready, and I thought we could make a star. You can take anything from nature like Vincent van Gogh did, though, but if you want to do a star, got my paints already right here. And again, you can use a pen or a pencil or markers. Actually, you can use any color you want. So for a star, you're going to do a triangle. And another triangle. Going this way. Don't worry about filling in too much right now. It's a lot of triangles. Two more. So in all, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 triangles. You want to fill in the middle here. And then if you want to add some darker colors to it, kind of mix it in with the yellow. Do different lines of color like Vincent van Gogh does. Then you want to take some lighter colors, mix it with the yellow or the orange, or I have some gold too. Start around the shape that you did, different lines or swirls. let's say you only have a pen or a pencil. To make different shades of pen, you could do something called cross-hatching. Just making a bunch of lines with your pen like this. And then to make something darker, you cross over like that with more lines. So you see how this looks a little bit darker than this, and then you can do it this way too. And then you get your different lines of color right here. And with a pencil, you do get to get different shades by lightly coloring it in, or dark, or medium. And that's how you can use your pencils, and you can also do cross-hatching with pencils too. Okay, so now I want to see your paintings or your markings or your pencil drawings or your pen drawings. And remember to do what Vincent van Gogh did. He put his feelings into it. So you might be a little bit sad that school's out, put it into your painting. Or you might be a little bit happy that school's out, put it in your painting. And then I want to see it. So have a grown-up take a picture when you're all done and then send it in the comments below. Okay, so thank you for watching my first video. And then next time we're going to be learning about a new kid artist and making a new work of art. So see you around.